Well, hey friends, I am so glad that you're here. Today I want to talk a little bit with you about low income Christmas with kids. And I'm talking like the whole season. This is not going to be focused so much on what I'm getting my kids for Christmas because that will come later. I will be sharing that, but not in today's video. So I also want to clarify, low income is very relative. I try to say this every time that I post a video regarding single income-ish, low income, whatever, because we live in the United States of America, and that can look like a lot of different things depending on where you live in the world, even where you live within our own country. So I just want to clarify that, like, my husband makes a decent amount. He doesn't make a ton, but we make it work. I work part-time now. That may not last forever, and it's not how it's always been, but I do bring in a little bit of extra money. So low income may not be single income for you. It may not be lower than your neighbor. It may just be lower than it was last year. I mean, groceries are expensive. The cost of living is kind of crazy right now. So wherever you find yourself, I just want to share some budget friendly and super fun ways to make the Christmas season, the holiday season, so festive for you and your family. If you're like me, you have little kids and you just want to go absolutely crazy, but the budget just says not this year, or maybe just scale it back. Maybe you have plans of saving your money and, you know, buying a farm or something. I mean, that's what we would ultimately love to do. Don't know if it'll ever happen, but maybe there's just better places to invest your money than in stuff, and especially stuff that will only last for a very short season when you look at the grand scheme of things. Some of these will be things, most of them will be activities or like intentional things that you can incorporate around your home or throughout your schedule. Just a fun opportunity for you and your children and the rest of your family, whoever is alongside of you, whoever walks through your door, to jump in and really get the most out of this Christmas season. So the first thing I would say is go big with decorations. Like, I know that we live in such a world of like minimalism and neutrals. The beige babies are a thing. Like, there's just a lot of that in our world these days, and I totally think there's a place for that, and maybe that place is Christmas for you. But for me, I have found that if I go really big with my Christmas decor, it feels more like Christmas. Now, part of this might also be because I am a grandma at heart. I love like 90s vintage style. I love old school types of things. So I know that this may just be a personal preference for me. But when my girls' rooms have Christmas going on in them, even if it's just little tinsels bought from the dollar store or the simple bows bought from the Dollar Tree, like, it does not have to be expensive stuff. It does not have to be Hobby Lobby. It doesn't have to be Kirkland's or whatever. It can be very simple stuff that does not cost more than $10 altogether. Now, I have a compilation of things from over the years, so I totally understand that that's not my case. But if I was just starting out, if my girls were toddlers, if they were really into this and they're just kind of at that age now of this is a really fun time and Christmas is exciting. And so I want to lean into that. I know that they will not have this much pure, innocent joy for long. And so I want to just capture and seize all of these moments for as long as I can, but without spending all of our money. Now, I will say their room is already red, so that helps for sure. But just adding some simple touches here and there goes a really long way. It is also a really great way if you are like me and you're kind of a perfectionist with the main Christmas tree in your house, or I have a couple, but and you really want your kids to get involved with helping decorate for Christmas, but you're just a little bit too much of a type A to leave the ornaments where they hang them, or to let all of the ornaments they pick out be on the tree. I have a tree in their room where they get a lot of the ornaments that aren't like the special breakable ones, and they can just put them absolutely wherever they want. They can put as many as they want. It can really be their own and something that they get to enjoy all season long, while I still selfishly, but you know, have my own trees that are the way that I want to enjoy them all season long. Another thing is a hot cocoa bar. I love setting up a hot cocoa bar every winter. I leave it all winter long, but especially for the Christmas season, that's usually when it comes out. And it's just a really fun way, even though my girls don't necessarily love hot cocoa, My youngest really likes milk. So I think maybe this year we will let her try out some chocolate milk and things like that. Maybe she'll have her own spin on it. She loves marshmallows. So it's just a really inexpensive way to add a pop of festivity to your kitchen counter. Now, I understand not wanting a ton of stuff on your counter. So I like to just place a standard size serving tray and then put all of the fixings on that. And obviously some of them will stay in the refrigerator anyway. So it doesn't have to be a huge spot on my counter. It just needs to be a little corner, and I just leave it stocked all season long after Christmas as well. I put things on there that I might not even enjoy, like the candy canes and things like that. I don't tend to choose whenever I'm making my own hot cocoa, but other people might, and it's such an inexpensive, like if you have a few dollars to spare in your grocery budget, just adding that to the list can make such a fun and cozy movie night or time around the fire in the evening with your family, or just whatever it may be, sometime reading a book. It's just a really nice touch and a good encouragement to really lean into the coziness this season has to offer. One of the other things that I have absolutely loved doing this season, this is the first year that I've done it, but I wrapped a book for every day of December and put them in a basket under our Christmas tree. And then every night the girls get to open one together and we read the book as a family. Now they are all Christmas books, but I tried really hard to differentiate between like your typical Santa Claus and reindeer and all of that stuff and the Christmas story. Like I tried to incorporate a little bit of everything. This is the key. Most of them we had like 15 or 16 Christmas books that we've just accumulated since having our firstborn 4 years ago, almost 5. And so we had several from just the last few years of being parents and having little kids. Earlier this year, decided I was going to pull all of our seasonal books from our bookshelves and keep them up in the closet. And then as the holidays came, I would rotate through the seasonal books. I know that some people rotate through like every book they have all year round. They only keep so many out. They do the same with toys. They only keep out so many toys and then they just rotate them ever so often. For me, that was too much to manage, but I could pull the specific seasonal or holiday ones, keep them up in the closet in a basket, and just pull out whichever ones were needed for the holidays as they come up. So that's what I did. And it's almost like, I know that my girls remembered that we had those books, but they haven't seen them in so long that it feels like it's a new book to them. So it saved me a lot of money. It saved me from having to go out and buy 25 new books. And then the ones that I have bought, I've just went to the thrift store and found. And especially this time of year, they have like, at least the thrift stores I go to, they have like tables at the front of the store with seasonal items. And one of those tables is a seasonal book table. And so I've been able to just really peruse those and find the really, really good ones. I found some really sweet and creative ones that really didn't fall into the category of like the nativity scene or like Santa and all of the commercial stuff. It was just really intentional stuff. Like there's just so many different options, and there's really beautiful things that you can find if you just take a little bit of time and put a little bit of effort into it. Along with that, the very first book that we opened is a family Advent devotional. So we've had this for a while. It's called The Way to the Manger. And honestly, it's a little bit advanced for my girls at their age. They're 2 and 4 right now. But it's still something that we can kind of break down and make even a little bit more like elementary than what it is. And it be something that we can all discuss and talk about and just give us some good conversation starters for this Christmas season. And I really wanted to start with that one first, because even though we'll get to all of the lights and the ornaments and the Santa hats and reindeer and all of that fun stuff, the Mickey Mouse stuff, I just wanted to start with that, and then we could do it every single day in addition to the other books that we were opening and reading, and it would be a really good foundation for us in terms of what this season is truly about. Similarly, I have heard about a Jessie Tree Advent calendar for quite some time, but not really known like how it works or what it is. I found this Etsy listing, which I will have linked down in the description box because it's only like $3.50 or something, but they're little ornaments that you can get them in a colored option, I believe, but I got them as like a coloring page option. And then I just printed 2 of every ornament and went through and cut them out and then put those in our little Santa Claus Advent calendar. And each night at dinner, Sometimes it doesn't work out perfectly because we're not home for dinner every night. This month is especially busy, but most nights we pull out those ornaments and the girls will color them as we are reading the Bible story that goes along with that. So if you're not familiar, the Jesse tree is the whole genealogy leading up to Jesus Christ, which I think is such a cool thing to go through at Christmas. And it's just such a neat way to see how God has used all kinds of people all throughout time to lead up to the birth of his perfect son, Jesus Christ. And how neat it is to see that just like us, these ordinary people were used to bring forth the Messiah. So I really am enjoying that, and I'm excited that we get to do that with our girls. It's just a really neat way to remind both my husband and myself, and to teach our girls like how to grow a love for this stuff and to see the fullness of what all it entails. Like I said, that Etsy listing I believe is like $3.50, but you could even just make your own. Like you could come up with all kinds of things for this. And then I also know they have like way more expensive Jesse tree versions of ornaments and things like that you can buy. And I mean, there's just all kinds of options, but I really encourage you to look into that, especially if you're a Christian, because that is such a neat way to go deeper. Like I never ever want Christmas or Easter or the gospel itself to become so overheard in my brain that I just become numb to it or I'm not amazed by it. And so things like this kind of refresh that, like they make it new again and just show me things that maybe I've forgotten or maybe I haven't been putting the pieces together on quite as much as what God has intended. So it's a really cool way to bring it all back to what's important for all of us in our home. And then something that I will admit I've been saving up my pennies for. So between working part-time at the preschool and making some here on YouTube this year, I decided that I wanted to save some of my money and put together a December basket for my girls. Now, this was opened on December 1st and it's full of things that they can use all season long. So we don't go super big on their actual Christmas presents, at least not at this age. And I'll get into more of that when I talk about what we got them for Christmas in the next video. But for the basket, I just wanted it to be some fun stuff, some fun festive stuff that they could enjoy all Christmas season long. And then hopefully even beyond that. I try not to get too Christmassy with like the pajamas, and that way they can get more use out of them than just 1 month. But like the little headbands with the Santa Clauses on top and the little Christmas kaleidoscopes and those kinds of things that I think that they're intended in the store to be like stocking stuffers. They would get them like the day of Christmas, and then it'd be like, oh, well, we're going to have these random Christmas things laying around our house until I throw them away in a couple of weeks. And so now maybe they'll get a little bit more use out of them. But either way, they weren't crazy expensive, and the girls really, really enjoyed it. It was a fun way to really just kick off like, okay, Thanksgiving is done, and here we are. We're taking on Christmas, and we are jumping right in with both feet and having a really fun time with it. In the December basket, I did custom pajamas for them, and they were matching. And then the stocking stuffer type things, I also put several crafts in there. Now, these were just like dollar store crafts, but my girls love arts and crafts, and it's not something that they were able to do all in one night. So there were like some activity books in there. There was some like gingerbread felt crafts. There was a gingerbread house. We did do a lot of this that night, but it was also things that would last longer into the season and be things that they could, already have here at home on hand and be ready to like jump into whenever they have free time or whenever we have a slower day here at the house. So I was really, really pleased with how the basket went, and I think that it'll become a tradition for us from now on. I definitely recommend trying that, and like I said, it does not have to be expensive. Honestly, especially if your kids are at the age mine are and they just get excited over things, like they just want to be with us. That's what all of this boils down to, is time. Like they just want quality time. They just want our presence and our excitement over time with them. And so that's what I am really hoping that all of these things help us to incorporate. Just more opportunities, some that are very much planned and set up and prepped for, and others that are just in our home that make it easier and more convenient to fall into quality time together. So I am so excited for all that this season is going to hold. I just know that this is going to be a really special time and a core memory for my home, for my family. I pray that it is a very, very pleasant one and something that for years to come, we will say these traditions are some of our very favorites. So I hope that you have found something beneficial in this. Maybe there's some things that you want to try. Maybe there's some things you're already doing. Maybe there's some things that you do that I would want to try. So feel free to leave those down in the comments below. I really love hearing how you guys do holidays all around the world. It's so exciting to me. And I'm just so grateful that I get to be here on this platform and that I get to learn from you, that we get to do this kind of together, you know, in a distant but close type of way. It's a neat community that we have here. So I'm very grateful that you chose to spend a little part of your day here with me. And I hope you have a good one wherever you are. Bye guys.